The sun rose gently over the sleepy little village of Willowdale, painting the sky in strokes of pink and gold. The morning breeze carried the soft fragrance of blooming jasmine, and the cobbled streets were still quiet, save for the distant clucking of hens and the rustling of leaves. In a cozy cottage at the edge of the village lived the Brown family, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, their 2 children, Lucy and Ben, and a tiny, fluffy kitten named Rosie. Rosie was the newest member of the family, barely 3 months old, with a soft orange coat and curious emerald green eyes that sparkled like dew in the sunlight. From the moment Rosie came into the house, she filled every corner with energy. She loved to chase falling leaves through the open windows, nap on Lucy's warm lap, and curl beside Ben's toy train tracks as it circled endlessly. Every evening, she'd perch on the windowsill, watching the clouds change colors as the sun dipped below the fields. But what made Rosie truly special wasn't just her playful spirit, it was her courage. She didn't know she was small. She thought she could take on the whole world if she had to. One evening, the air felt different. The wind carried a strange chill, and the sky, once bright and clear, began to darken with thick, heavy clouds. Mrs. Brown stood on the porch, looking up at the gathering storm.
It looks like we're in for some rain tonight.
Do you think it'll be bad?
It's just a passing storm, nothing to worry about, but let's make sure everything's secure.
Rosie watched from the window, her tail flicking anxiously. The wind had a strange voice that night, low, moaning, and restless. Leaves swirled in circles, and somewhere in the distance, thunder grumbled like a sleepy giant waking up. As dusk fell, the family gathered for dinner. The rain started softly, tapping the roof like tiny footsteps. Rosie lay curled under the table, listening to the rhythm of the storm. But as the night deepened, the rain grew louder. The gentle patter turned into a roar. The wind howled, pushing against the windows, and lightning flashed across the sky, lighting up the living room for a heartbeat before plunging it back into darkness.
It's so loud!
It's all right, sweetheart. The storm will pass soon.
But Rosie could sense something. Her ears perked up at every sound. The creak of the walls, the whistle of the wind sneaking through tiny cracks, the distant rumble that seemed to move closer with every minute. The family lit candles when the lights flickered and went out. The soft glow filled the room with a golden warmth, but outside, the world seemed to be falling apart. The clock ticked past midnight. The storm was at its fiercest now. The trees groaned under the wind's force, and rain lashed against the windows like 1,000 tiny fists. Then suddenly, crack! A deafening noise split the night. A bolt of lightning struck somewhere near the forest behind the house. The ground trembled slightly and Rosie leapt to her feet, her fur standing on end.
What was that?
Just lightning.
Minutes passed, then Rosie's sharp little ears caught something new, a sound beneath the noise of rain and thunder. It was faint but steady, a deep rushing noise growing louder by the second. She darted to the door, scratching and meowing loudly.
Rosie, what's wrong, sweetheart?
But Rosie wouldn't stop. She pawed the door, turned in circles, and meowed again, louder this time, more urgently.
Maybe she wants to go outside.
Not in this weather.
Rosie ran to the window instead. She stood on her hind legs, pressing her tiny paws against the glass. The sound outside was growing. It wasn't thunder. It was a roar, heavy and wild, like something alive. Mr. Brown opened the door slightly to listen. The moment he did, the sound hit him. The rushing, gurgling force of water. His eyes widened.
What is it?
The river, it's overflowing.
The small river that ran behind their cottage had always been peaceful, but after hours of heavy rain, it was no longer a gentle stream. It had turned into a raging torrent, tearing through the banks and racing toward the village. Rosie meowed frantically, tugging at Mr. Brown's pant leg, as if to say, "We have to go! Now!"
Everyone get up! We need to move to higher ground!
The children froze, confused, but Rosie darted toward the back door, meowing loudly, trying to lead them.
Grab the flashlight.
The family scrambled. Lucy held Ben's hand tightly as they followed their father toward the front door. Rosie ran ahead, her tiny paws splashing in the growing puddles on the floor as rain seeped in under the door. Outside, the world was chaos. The storm screamed through the trees and sheets of rain blurred everything. The once distant roar was now deafening. The river had broken through the field and water was rushing toward the cottage, swallowing the garden and creeping up the steps.
Quick, to the hill! It's the only safe place!
Rosie ran ahead, her little body trembling from the cold but moving with fierce determination. She stopped every few steps, turning back to make sure the family was following. The ground was slippery, and Lucy stumbled. Rosie ran back to her, meowing loudly, circling her feet as if to say, Get up, keep going!
I'm okay, Rosie, I'm coming.
The family trudged through the rain, the water rising fast around their ankles. Mr. Brown carried Ben on his shoulders while holding Lucy's hand. Mrs. Brown followed behind, clutching the flashlight and keeping an eye on Rosie, who led the way through the dark. Just as they reached the fence, a loud cracking sound echoed behind them. The old wooden bridge near the cottage collapsed under the force of the water, disappearing in an instant. The children screamed, but Rosie pushed forward, guiding them up the narrow path that led to the small hill overlooking their home. By the time they reached the top, the cottage below was half submerged. The sight broke Mrs. Brown's heart.
Our home.
We're safe. That's what matters.
The rain continued to pour, and they huddled together under a large oak tree, wrapping themselves in a blanket they'd managed to grab before escaping. Rosie climbed onto Lucy's lap, drenched but purring softly, as if to comfort her.
You saved us, Rosie.
The kitten blinked slowly, curling up tighter. Her job wasn't done yet. Hours passed before the storm finally began to fade. The first light of dawn peeked through the thinning clouds. The rain slowed to a drizzle, and the roar of the river softened to a murmur. Exhausted, the family watched as the world around them came back into view. The fields were flooded, the cottage roof barely visible above the waterline. But they were alive, thanks to a tiny kitten who had heard what they could not. Mr. Brown looked at Rosie, who sat proudly beside him, her fur still damp, but her eyes bright. "You really are a brave little one," he said softly. The following days were filled with cleanup and rebuilding. The villagers helped one another, repairing homes and clearing debris. The Browns temporarily stayed with neighbors while they worked on their damaged cottage. Rosie became the talk of the town. Everyone knew the story of the kitten who had saved her family from the storm. Children came by to visit her, bringing bits of fish and milk, calling her Hero Rosie. But Rosie didn't care for the attention. She was just happy to see her family smiling again. She spent her days watching over them as they rebuilt their home, always alert, always curious. One afternoon, as Mr. Brown hammered the last plank into place on the repaired fence, Lucy sat nearby, drawing in her sketchbook. Rosie lay beside her, tail flicking lazily in the sunshine. Lucy showed her the picture she had drawn, a small orange kitten standing bravely before a raging river with the words, "Rosie the Brave," written underneath.
What do you think, Rosie?
The kitten tilted her head and gave a soft meow, almost like a tiny laugh. That night, as the sun set and peace returned to Willowdale, the Browns sat together on the porch. The rebuilt cottage stood strong behind them, glowing in the golden evening light. The river, calm once more, shimmered like glass.
You're not just a kitten, you're our guardian angel.
Rosie purred, pressing her small head against Lucy's cheek. The sky blazed with colors, amber, crimson, and soft lavender, as if the heavens themselves were celebrating her courage. From that day on, whenever the wind howled or thunder rumbled in the distance, Rosie would perk up her ears, keeping watch. The family knew they could rest easy, because their brave little hero was always ready. And, though she never spoke a word, everyone in Willowdale knew one simple truth. Sometimes the smallest hearts carry the greatest courage. The storm that once threatened to take everything away had, in the end, brought them something even greater. A reminder that love and bravery can come in the tiniest of forms, with soft paws and a fearless heart. As the stars appeared one by one, Rosie climbed onto the windowsill, her favorite spot. The night was calm now, the world peaceful once again. She gazed out at the moonlit fields, her tail wrapped neatly around her paws, and gave a quiet little sigh. The wind whispered through the trees, gentle this time, like a lullaby. Rosie closed her eyes, her heart full and warm, knowing her family was safe. And as the night embraced Willowdale, the brave kitten finally drifted off to sleep. A hero, a protector, and the tiniest guardian anyone could ever wish for.